Okay, hi, welcome to topic 3. So, very importantly, the Darwinism worksheet, which hopefully you've already done, but in case you haven't, it was not linked to the assignment in topic 2. So it is in the class questions and it's also in an announcement immediately below this one. So check that out if you're still missing your Darwinism worksheet. And get it turned in, and there will be no late point penalties for that. Okay, this week we're going to look at the Republic and its democracy. So on your first discussion question is due Wednesday. It's about the Constitution, and there was a huge fight between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Federalists wanted a strong federal government. They were people like Alexander Hamilton. The Anti-Federalists wanted strong states. Those are people like Thomas Jefferson. The issue is we had already lived through strong states with the Articles of Confederation. That did not work. You need somebody in charge. And so that's sort of the argument. And there are good points on both sides and bad points on both sides. So it's important to study that. Also, you look at, so the Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, who is credited as being the father of the Constitution, they wrote essays, the Federalist Papers, and they were written to be published in newspapers to help explain the Constitution, so that people, as it went to the several states to be ratified, people understood what it was they were ratifying. Federalist number 21 is written by Alexander Hamilton, and it really details many of the defects of the Articles of Confederation. So if you're curious about that, and I'll put it in some of my replies, it'll be linked in the discussion as we get going. But if you're curious about what was wrong with the Articles of Confederation, Federalist 21 is a great explanation. Also, your second discussion, which is due on Friday, is about the Civil War amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. The 13th Amendment was necessary because the Emancipation Proclamation only ended slavery basically in the South. The 13th Amendment ends it countrywide. And then the 14th Amendment, those equal protections that should have been made available to everyone. Great efforts were made to circumvent those. Even our own Supreme Court in the Plessy versus Ferguson case is trying to circumvent the 14th Amendment and create the separate but equal doctrine, which separate is not equal. So we don't see a correction, and we don't see full civil rights, full civil liberty across the board until really the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Supreme Court started a little earlier in the 40s with ending some segregation, like with home ownership. Then they ended segregation in public schools, but really not until the Civil Rights Act of 1964 do we see a formal end. And finally, these the Civil War amendments are coming to life. Also, we had to have a Voting Rights Act in 1965 because of all the weird voting ways that, especially in the South, they tried to keep African Americans from voting. So it takes almost 100 years after these Civil War amendments before we finally have these rights codified and available for everyone. It's a great topic, a lot of good information. You have a worksheet due on the evolution of democracy on Sunday. You have a quiz, and make sure you get those 6 posts, replies, and the discussions for your participation. Reach out to me with questions and have a wonderful week.